And it depends where it's tried and where you file and all of these things. So, there was this notion of, you don't want to get one of these NFL owners on the stand. Well, it's unlikely that happens. So,
here's the thing to me that I have a hard time getting my head around is that, and I wonder if they felt like it was a trial balloon. Ian Rappaport, who works for the NFL, was on NFL Network yesterday outlining the reasons why they wouldn't appeal, that it would keep this Watson story in the news. You've got the kickoff to the season tonight, the Hall of Fame this weekend, and that there was a concern that the dirty laundry of owners was going to get aired as a result of this going into federal court. That this would, right? But that was coming. My guess was from the NFL, and I can tell you for a fact, and when we were on the air yesterday, that there were people who are very close to the NFL that for a time yesterday were convinced that they were not appealing. So part of me wonders if they said, we're going to float that out there, what's the reaction to this? People are outraged. We're appealing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a fantastic point. I mean,
it's hard to be. It is hard. The people who are going to lose the most in this right now, as we sit here, are the Browns fans,
of course,
right? And Browns fans, and people are coming after Browns fans. How could you they're just fans of the team.
They just want a distraction on a Sunday, man.
Yeah, and they would like this team to be good, as we all would.
Yeah,
and you could feel it is palpable that this team had a great chance to be very good. So this is obviously a setback, and we'll see how this plays out. That's the thing. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and now we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's you are at the whims of the NFL here now, and there's not a whole lot of recourse.
The thing that I would be the most upset about if I was an NFL player or just as a Browns fan right now, how did the NFLPA get itself into this position?
Great question.
Why would it not be, we're going to use an independent arbitrator who is a federal judge that both sides agree on, and their ruling is binding and final? In what world did it make sense to have an appeal to the NFL? Maybe if it would go through the actual court, you go to an appellate court. I don't even know how that would work. But the fact that the final authority, regardless of the outcome, so if the NFL gets the outcome it wants from Sue Robinson, it's saying, cool. Yeah. If the NFL doesn't get the outcome it wants from Sue Robinson, it then says we're going to appeal to ourselves and get the outcome we want.
Who signed that?
And then from the NFLPA side, it's if we get the outcome we want from Sue Robinson, we're like, cool, we're not going to appeal. But if we don't, that means she sided with the NFL, and our only ability to appeal is to the NFL.
To the NFL. I don't know.
I'm just curious who he appoints.
It doesn't matter, though, really.
I don't think it matters either.
Right? I mean, just you and I speaking frankly here, I don't think it matters.
No.
The NFL can do whatever they want. The NFL can do whatever it wants here. Roger Goodell can do whatever it wants. Whatever he wants. If he wants it to be indefinite, then done. That's yesterday when the sources say that they want it to be, then make it indefinite.
You
have the power.
Seeking.
The
word seeking.
Yeah, that's right. They use seeking. Well, what do you mean? You are the one who are going to levy it.
Yeah.
If you want it to be indefinite, then make it indefinite. That's it. It's done.
It's back to Ned Stark. If you're going to pass sentence, swing the sword. You're not seeking it. Like Ned Stark in Winterfell was not, hey, Ned Stark seeking the death penalty for so-and-so. We'll see what happens when he appoints a council to decide whether or not he's getting death penalty. But Ned Stark wants it. Well, in Winterfell, if Ned Stark says you're getting death penalty, that's what you're getting. Off your head. That's it.
Right.
The end.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what it is. You look great in that sweatshirt. It's a great looking hoodie.
I wore it today because I was sad, and this makes me happy.
Makes me happy too. Makes me happy you have one.
It's a win for both of us.
Yeah. Mine under here somewhere.
Listen,
under a desk.
You are held in high regard by Mr. Howard, so next time we get him in here, let's get you on the program.
See if we can work that out. In terms of, and again, we are doing two shows, and as someone covering the team, you're on two beats. As a fan of this team, it's like there are two different things that you're doing. You are rooting for your team, and you're seeing the incredible things that we're seeing out on the practice field. I mean, and then you're also handling this very, very heavy lifting when it comes to the legalities of stuff. So you're doing both of those things. So just from a practical purpose of where we are the schedule from the reason that we're here in Berea is because there is no practice today. They're off. They'll practice Friday. They'll practice Saturday. They'll practice Sunday. They'll be off on Monday, and then they'll be back in front of fans next Tuesday, which is the final open practice before you guys leave for Jacksonville on Wednesday.
By the way, when did we move to South Florida with all this humidity?
You should have saw the football practice last night with the fifth graders in this heat.
Yeah, probably not a lot of happiness. A little bit of complaining. Fogging visors.
There was
any visors.
There was one kid in a visor, and it felt like he was going to suffocate. I'm like, dude, I know they look cool, but this ain't it, brother.
I was driving through our neighborhood, and like everybody's got nice, good windows. Like it's a solid neighborhood. Everything's fog. Like it looks like we're in like such a weird. It's bizarre what's going on.
I know it really is. It's so humid.
So
humid. All right, there has been some stuff to talk about on the field. We will get into that as we go along. You'll hear from our good buddy Chad O'Shea. You'll hear some of the highlights around that. TC McCartney, really good interview with Z and TC coming up in the second hour of the program. We'll go around the league as well. We're off and running here. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. As an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. And now let's head to the podium. Some of the really insightful information from our good buddy Chad O'Shea, our wide receivers coach. We've talked a lot about this position room. There's been some breakout stars in this room. Here's Coach O'Shea on some of those issues.
Looks like a couple of young guys are taking advantage of extra reps.
You're done.
Injury situation. Can
Yeah.
you talk about Woods and anything Jakeem Grant?
I can. I mean, we've had some guys take advantage of the opportunities that they've had here recently, and they've made the most of their opportunities. And that's what we told them on day one, is there's going to be a time where you're going to have an opportunity to go out there and show this team that we can trust you and you'll be dependable as an offensive player. And we've had a couple guys in Jakeem Grant and Mike Woods who have made the most of their opportunities. And I think they made the most out of their opportunities because they work hard and they go out there and they perform and try to do the things that we ask them to do. So certainly that's been a very positive thing for our offense that they've done that.
We know what happened to Schwartz last year when his rookie camp started slowly because of not being on the field. David Bell, can he catch up? And how much of a setback is just not being out there for him?
Yeah, I think any time you're not on the field, it presents a different type of challenge, but no different challenge than we have when you're presented with other things. So I think that we do enough with him from a walkthrough standpoint. We're very intense in the meeting room setting with him. So we spend as much time as we can to make sure we kind of close that gap to where when he does get on the field, that he's in a position to know the information and go out there and try to execute it. Obviously, we want as many players on the field as we can. If you're available to us, you have a chance to improve, but he certainly can improve, although not being out there.
Specifically about Michael Woods, what have you seen in him that you like? What did you see in him kind of coming out of Oklahoma that you appreciate?
Yeah, I start with the non-physical traits with him. His character traits are very strong. He's got tremendous work ethic. He's very smart. He's mature. He's taken the coaching. Certainly for a rookie, I think he's been very professional in his development. And then his skill set, it's been great to see him go out there with the opportunities that he's had here recently, make the most of those opportunities because of his ability to play different positions. You know, we ask our players, if you can play in multiple roles, you increase our role for the team and you increase your chances of going out there and having individual success. And certainly he's done that because he has the position flexibility mentally to play multiple positions. He's made the most of his opportunities, and it's been very positive with Mike Woods so far.
It seems like DPJ has really taken a big step, you know, without Odell here and Jarvis, to be that second receiver. What's been that key for him?
Yeah, I think Donovan, and I've said this over the last couple years working with Donovan, he is such a great guy, and he brings so much to the table as far as his work ethic and his leadership within the group. He takes coaching very well. He tries to be detail-oriented. He had a great off-season this year working with our strength and conditioning staff, which I think does a tremendous job with our players in general. But they did a great job with Donovan of making sure that he was in ideal shape and strength and a physical condition to go out there and, you know, do the things that he can do for us. And he's also a guy that can play in multiple spots. And been very pleased with Donovan this year so far.
What makes Amari such a good route runner? And he specifically mentioned having success on double moves.
Yeah, I think Amari's had success over his career, and he's an accomplished route runner. And I think his success on double move type routes is because he runs the first route really well. So if you're a great speed out runner, and they have to honor and respect that. If you're good at that, then you should be able to complement that in what I say is a punch and counter punch. So I think that's what's given him the ability to be a double route runner, is that he can run that first route really well.
What impact has he had within that room and on that receiver group? He doesn't seem to be a flashy type of personality or flashy guy. Just kind of goes about his business, but just from your perspective, what impact has he had on?
Yeah, Amari Cooper's had an impact without saying a word, and that's how I think it really, to sum it up best. He goes about his business every day. He works extremely hard. He is a great example to not only our young players in the receiver room, but to our team. And I really respect and admire the way he works every day. Certainly, I have watched him from afar for several years and always loved him as a receiver, and now that I've had a chance to work with the individual, it's been awesome, and can't again say enough great things about Amari Cooper and what he's brought not only to our receiver group but to the team.
Jay, can you address all of the challenges that you have faced at the position? It seems like every time you look out there, you're losing another guy, and you see Amari the other day, and even Donovan when he got in the little scrum with Martin. You're probably like holding your breath on that. But can you just address what you've gone through this camp with all of that?
Yeah, and when I step in front of the group and we have our meetings, when I talk about challenges, we kind of talk about opportunities. We flip that word. And truly, it is an opportunity for some of these other guys to show us what they have. And although it might be a setback for the individual that suffers the injury, for whether it's short-term or long-term, what a great opportunity that is for guys like Mike Woods, Mike Harley, some of these young rookies to get an opportunity to go out there and show us that all the work we've done in the meetings and we've had on the field individually now can go into a huddle and they can, again, show us that they deserve to be here as a Cleveland Brown.
Coach, with Dick Vermeil going into the Hall of Fame, I think he's the guy that kind of gave you your start.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought him up. I mean, I'm not standing in front of you guys right now. This is my 20th year in the NFL if it wasn't for Dick Vermeil. And I'm so proud of him and his accomplishment that he's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And there's so many lessons I learned as a coach. I would say the foundation of what I am as a coach is probably a lot of what he was and what.
1 minute.
And the one thing that I'll always cherish that I learned from him is the importance of the relationships of the players and the coaches and how important that is and how special that is. And he's somebody I learned a great deal from. I've learned loyalty. I learned how to operate about your business and work very extremely hard. There's a great story. I was a special teams assistant when I was working for him and working with the linebackers. And it's when we were still on the paper photocopies. We weren't on the iPads like we are now. And we had a copy jam, and he was a very hard worker. He'd be there all hours of the night. And him and I were the only two in the building. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was trying to fix a paper jam. I was on my knees. He walked past me, said, "What's going on here?" I was actually kicking the machine. He told me to calm down and have some poise. He got down on his knees, and he fixed that copy jam with me. And to me, that's always something that has stuck with me of how humble of a leader he was, what a great worker, and what a great mentor he's been. I still stay in communication with him quite often, and I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about his honor that he's going to receive this weekend.
You're up.
All right, good stuff from Coach there. His room is it's a room that needs to get healthy for starters. That's the first part of it. You need to start seeing Anthony Schwartz on a football field. You need to start seeing Dave Bell on a football field.
Yeah, and Mike Woods, who had been the guy that had capitalized on their absences, was unable to finish practice yesterday, and we do not have an update.
Oh, I missed that with all
him.
of the rest of it, so I didn't even see that at the end that happened.
Well, there was other things. Yeah,
was there? There was other stuff that took the attention?
How about the surreal nature of the fact? Not that, because I know that we don't want to go back to this.
Sure.
But the surreal nature of the fact that he found out on our practice field, on camera with the NFL Network, like in the middle of a Steve Wyche hit.
Wait a second. He heard from Steve Wyche?
No, he didn't hear from Steve Wyche. While Steve Wyche is doing a hit here, remember he was here yesterday.
Yeah.
They're like doing a hit, and that's when you could see Deshaun being told on the field
what
that they had appealed. And then it just so happened there was a very high-ranking person from the NFLPA here. I don't know his
because
name.
of the Hall of Fame,
because
right?
of the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And then as Wyche is doing the hit, they're like showing that guy go talk to Watson as he's going into the locker room. And Deshaun Watson, to his credit, when you would be obviously I'm sure he was not pleased, got the news, processed it for a second, and then went, and it was Military Appreciation Day, and spent his time going everybody in that line with the military to thank them for their service and for being there, and then made his way in, which it would have been easy to be like, you know what, like, I'm out.
I'm going to go in. Yeah. That's what I was saying when we were in the first segment we were talking about it. Like, the whole timing of this feels like this could have been done so much long ago.
Yes.
It should have been wrapped up at the end of June.
Should have been wrapped up, honest to goodness, it should have been wrapped up before he was traded.
Correct. Yeah. As soon as the grand jury information was had, once that happens, then
here's the
wrapped
thing,
up and away you go.
Here's the thing, and this is not to be, obviously we're with the Browns. We are I'm a Browns employee, pro Browns in this situation. And the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson after doing their own investigation, which they felt very comfortable that, A, he could work here. And right now what we're really talking about is an individual's right to work in their chosen profession.
Yeah.
His current employer, even though it's under the umbrella of the National Football League, but his current employer is the Cleveland Browns. They've investigated him, and they felt comfortable with him playing, which is, again, neither here nor there. But the fact is, all of these things that are alleged to have happened while he was a Houston Texan. On some level, the Texans were implicated in it, as there were civil suits brought against the Texans, all by the same lawyer, Tony Busby, that they settled. As of now, there has not been any type of a punishment meted out to the Houston Texans, who now got to trade Deshaun Watson, have all of our first-round picks.
Yeah.
And in some ways, you would say, given the scope of what it feels like is happening right now, Sean, they're smelling like roses, and all of this happened while he was under their employ and not the Browns' employ.
Correct. Yeah.
Which it doesn't feel right.
No, but I don't know that I don't think that Roger Goodell cares, clearly, about any of that. It's a fantastic point. It's a fantastic point. And who knows? But it seems like any time that's the hard part about this right now is, you hear from Coach O'Shea, and we watched practice this week, and we'll watch practice tomorrow. We'll be out there again tomorrow. And there are noteworthy things, but it's all tabled or couched by, but what about this? And you all view it in the context of this receiving core. For example, let's have a football conversation for a second. We had this conversation yesterday on the show. This receiving core is plenty good with Deshaun Watson as the quarterback. It's a very different receiving core if Deshaun Watson is not the quarterback. Amari Cooper remains a one. We like a lot of the guys in the room, sure, but they really need to get healthy. And much of it was bet on the idea that they would be elevating by having Deshaun Watson throw them the football.
We're talking about, look what he did with Kiki Kute and all of the things. And now you've got a situation where in camp, 2 days ago, you didn't have 3 of your top 4, but Amari Cooper came right back and had a nice day yesterday. So you've got Amari, who's your 1. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones, your 2. So at the end of the day, your 2 most important guys have been here the whole time. That's good. 3 and 4, depending on how you wanted to order them, would be Bell and Schwartz. You haven't seen either one of them in camp. We saw Schwartz for a hot second. That's it. The guy who really was your next best receiver thus far, and really has been your 3rd best receiver in camp, is Mike Woods.
Yeah.
And now we know that he was unable to finish practice, and you fear that it could be something more significant, right? If it's a muscle, if it's, whatever. Because remember, he was battling muscle, soft tissue injuries, which kept him out of pretty much all the OTAs. Then he was in the mini camp. So he's already had limited time, but he's flashed. There's no doubt about it. But now we don't know when we'll see him. Hopefully it's tomorrow. Hopefully it wasn't serious.
Hopefully it's not the needs tomorrow. This isn't scores. But
we'll find out. Then you've got Felton and Grant, who have had nice camps. And Jakeem Grant, got over 1,000 yards receiving in his career. Over 500 the last 2 seasons with 3 touchdowns. But he's not an every down wide receiver for you. He's your return guy, and he's going to be a guy that you're going to put a package of plays in for. And that's kind of how Demetric Felton feels. You go and you look at who's out there, who can still come in and produce for this football team. There's Will Fuller, but again, the issue is right now health in our wide receiver room. He has never stayed healthy. Deshaun Jackson, does he still have anything left? There is clearly some debate as to whether T.Y. Hilton has anything left or if he even wants to play in the NFL. And you're just connecting the dots, a guy who at least played with Jacoby Brissett. Emmanuel Sanders might actually be the most complete receiver available to you, but are you trying to bring somebody else in at this point because in early camp you are not healthy when the expectation is both Bell and Schwartz are going to be fine for week 1? But do you need to, if you're not going to have Watson for at least 6 games, do you feel the need to elevate overall your receiving core? And I don't know the answer to that. That's not something, for me to decide. But what I will say is the Browns are fortunate to have Chad O'Shea, who we just heard, because Chad O'Shea has, everywhere he's gone, consistently gotten the best out of the talent that is in his room, because he is, if not the best, one of the best wide receiver coaches in the NFL, and we're very lucky to have him here. So he helps the situation, but again, he can't go out and play. Not that you would want him to. You want him to coach, but there's only so much that can be done, and this becomes now a concern. Now, on the flip side, the Browns in a situation where they are going to, if without Watson, I imagine we're going to run an offense that's more similar to the offense that we have seen in the past. So there will be the 12 personnel where you've got your 2 tight ends, you've got Harrison Bryant, and you've got David Njoku who are going to help you. You still got Nick Chubb, you still have Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson to carry the load running the football. You've got a quarterback in Jacoby Brissett who can operate that play action, that boot game. We just probably won't be that sling it around the yard type of a team. And that would be the case too, by the way, regardless of who's playing quarterback for this team, of the available potential options, even getting like way out there and talking in the Jimmy G's of the world. Jimmy G's not a stand back there and throw it 50 times a game shotgun quarterback at all. So you have that with Watson. You don't have that without Watson, and that's fine. We can be a very successful offense, and I think we're a team that is going to be carried in large part by our ground game and our defense. Anyway, our defense is elite. I'm here to tell you right now, I think we have the best secondary in the NFL. I think we may have the fastest linebacking core in the NFL, and we've got the best edge rush or close to it in the conversation tandem in the NFL.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to be excited about with this football team, regardless of what the outcomes are here with Deshaun Watson. But obviously, getting to be out there and see it, you realize that he is unlike everything else and anybody else we've had play the position here.
Otto.
Brian Sipe was an MVP, and obviously Bernie was tremendous.
Yeah.
But he is a guy that is going to be considered one of the top quarterbacks in the league, period.
Yep. Yep. So that's all of it is kind of tabled by that. So you view things through 2 different spectrums all the time on this stuff. You mentioned some of the fun and cool things that are happening out here at camp, especially on this defense. We'll get into some of the guys who have stood out. Some of the position battle updates is we're going to be in Jacksonville a week from today, not playing, but we'll be there. As you guys are going to travel next Wednesday? Is that when you guys are flying down?
That's right.
So you'll be flying to Jacksonville next Wednesday to play a game. We got an actual game tonight, by the way, Hall of Fame game down in Canton as well. With Jacksonville. Wonderful to see Trevor Lawrence next week. We won't see him tonight.
We will not see him tonight.
Probably not, would be my guess.
Let's get the Bo Bishop rules in there. Let's see
it's just simple. Lawrence. Like, it's such a simple fix. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. My good friends at the Bath Authority can give you that bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. You want that spa-like experience every time you go in there. They can do it for you. Let the Bath Authority can make it a reality for you. Fraction of cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts and factory trained. You give them a call now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399. Or go to thebathauthority.com. Tell them both sent you. It's where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding in about a day. Superior products with expert installers at thebathauthority.com. 216-220-8399 on that. In terms of who has – it's crazy because we're out there yesterday, and this has happened every day that we've done the show out there this week in the 3 days that we've done the show, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Every single day there has been a Nick Chubb run that has literally taken my breath away while we're on the air.
Because he's moving at a different speed than other human beings.
Right?
He looks like
you see a blur.
It's a blur. I mean, I'll put it on right now while we're talking and watch the tape of it. But that's the thing that makes me. It's insane to watch. He's faster than the tape refresh rate and he is. It's just, it's absurd. And he's not the only one. Jerome Ford had one yesterday where he was cooking, but. Nick Chubb looks, if he needs to, he looks ready to carry the load. If that is what is required for this football team to get it done, Nick Chubb looks ready and up to the task to do just that.
We have music. Little traveling music.
Yeah, exciting.
It's very, very exciting. So you got, good Lord, you got Nick Chubb as a blur. In terms of some of the other people who have jumped out to you. Let's do position battles first. Let's circle back to defensive tackle. You mentioned Jordan Elliott on the show yesterday, and they seem to be raving about Jordan Elliott and making a bit of a jump. Who else in that room has made an impression early?
Well, Taven Bryan's a guy that he flashes, and I think the hope is that if Taven Bryan can get more consistent, that the Browns really have gotten themselves a free agent gem. He has had some dominant plays yesterday to close out practice. They were down in the goal line area, and the first team offense was on there. And on 2 consecutive plays, he was in the backfield and was a play wrecker. And so that's what they're looking for out of Taven Bryan. That's what they think he could do. Remember, this guy's a first-round talent. I've been doing my research, getting ready for the season. One of the things that I found, which is always a lot of fun, is you get into college nicknames, and his nickname while he was at the University of Florida was the Wyoming Wild Man, as he hails from the great state of Wyoming. And
nice alliteration there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one right there where I'm watching right now, and that was actually him working on Wyatt Teller, who was a Pro Bowler, All-Pro right guard, and was able to get into the backfield. And so that's a guy that they're counting on. Perrion, I'm told, has been, he is unbelievably talented, unbelievably athletic, unbelievably strong. It's a matter for him of mastering the defense, his responsibilities within that defense, and bringing that to the field. And if he can do that, they're very excited about Perrion. But I think the 2 guys we thought we were going to start are going to start. Tommy Togiai's put some good weight back on. He's been able to get his hands on the ball a few times, so he's had a good camp. But really, it's Elliott and Bryan. And what we have not really seen yet, and it's early because they're still in the kind of the initial installs of the defenses, Alex Wright inside. And I talked to him about that yesterday in our interview. But that is something that I know is in the works at some point here for the Browns. And I think the Browns are also looking into some different packages where at times you'll see, maybe Miles and Clowney, that's it. And then you can go Miles Clowney with, let's call it JOK, Phillips, and Taki, and a blitz as all stand-up blitzers. And then behind that, you can have your 3 corners, 3 safeties, and just have kind of this fast unit where you're going to bring pressures from a lot of different spots.